When I retired from the village of Wheeling, I made a promise to my family I would stay out of the politics of this village. Unfortunately, I watched the board meeting 2 weeks ago, and I could not stand by idly. In particular, I want to talk about your discussion that you had over the county's mandate restricting individuals and restaurants over vaccinated and non-vaccinated. I want to point out, thank you, Trustee Vito, for at least engaging the discussion of this board. It's something that's been sadly lacking all around this process for 2 years, not only here, but also on the state, county, and federal level. I appreciate it. I will not go into everything that Trustee Vito brought up. He gave a very good overview of many of the issues that are out there. I will just reiterate a couple things because I think it's important for you to remember. In 1776, 13 colonies got together against a monarchy, a single individual, the King of England, who dictated. Later on, a war was fought, a constitution was created that prohibited the discrimination against individuals and groups. That constitution has been amended several times as deficiencies were noted, banning slavery, women's right to vote, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We also have a state constitution, which has language in there that also prohibits the discrimination against individuals, groups, and races. Each one of you who were elected and placed on this board raised your right hand and took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois. And if you've forgotten what that says, I'm sure that Village Clerk Brady can pull up the card you signed and can point those facts out to you. As Trustee Vito pointed out, none of what is coming out of the county has gone through a vote, a public discussion, or made a legal action. It is basically a monarchy decree that is pushing you to do something. We are 2 years into this COVID process, and I don't think there's a person here, whether you're pro-vax or anti-vax, that cannot agree that things have not gone well. And like I said, Trustee Vito pointed many of those items out. 3 jabs, and you can still get sick, and you can still transmit the disease. Masks, there's been a debate back and forth. There's now studies out of Sweden that show that they're ineffective. And recently, now they announced this weekend, the CDC, that they're questioning myocarditis and pericarditis for youth. They're finally acknowledging that there's an issue giving vaccines to the youth of America. They haven't stopped them yet, but it's something that has been talked about for a long time and is now coming to being discussed. Again, nobody's discussing these issues. None of you brought up the most important question. As trustees, what is right for the citizens of this community? What is right for the businesses that call this town their home? Many of the restaurant staff that work in this community, particularly the support staff, live in this community. And when restaurants close, they lose their jobs. I remember for 2 years watching people in yellow t-shirts walk from the apartment complex next to Station 24 to Bob Chin's. And right after your meeting, Bob Chin's announced that they are closing down during the duration of this county order because they don't want to deal with it. We have restaurants in this town that have closed and left. Right across the street from Fire Station 24 is Tuscany, which closed early January. You didn't ask what the impact is when you start restricting trade in your own community and you start impacting something that we've been very proud of in this community, and that's the restaurant row and restaurant businesses. Every dollar that is not spent in those restaurants is a dollar to the taxpayers that has to be made up in another format. And the only other way that that happens is through property tax increases. So therefore, your decisions to continue to play in this game impact the 40,000 residents that live here and the businesses that are still here. And it's something you need to think about very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Chief McKenzie.